I'm obsessed with passive income, okay? Period. I'm an addict. And in particular, I'm really fixated right now on using hard drives, general purpose, computer hardware to mine cryptocurrency or really turn my hard drives into passive income machines. Always wanted to be a business owner, but humans are fickle. And there's really just such beauty, a bit dystopia, with a bunch of robotic employees. Enter cryptocurrency mining rigs. If you're not into actually crypto, you can dump your crypto into dirty dollars and other fiat if you want to. Today, I want to elaborate on what I'm doing on the hard drive mining front, why, and really illustrate why I'm taking this so serious that I am converting a shed into being my own little DIY data center, which is really just to mine with hard drives. My name's Vosk. I'm on track to be a full-time hard drive miner. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. So a few months ago, I published my plan on VoskCoin Talk, shameless plug, it's our forum, right? On converting an Amish shed into a data center. How exactly was I gonna do it? I've gone through several iterations, but it was in particular these evergreen miners that really just rejuvenated my interest in hard drive mining. I did some hard drive mining back in 2017, and I just didn't have the best experience. They made a plug and play hard drive miner. It's easy to use. You can DIY your own Chia XCH farmer. But the bottom line is this was easy. They have their own app. It's like a wallet, all that stuff. Yeah, I've got a coupon code. Support your boy. Use the link. Use the code VoskCoin to save some cash. But this isn't a video to try to sell you stuff. I'm talking about what I'm doing. The bottom line is that there's just a lot of money per day emitted in the Chia ecosystem. I mine a lot of cryptocurrencies. Right now, I'm mining, almost all these cryptocurrencies in the top. So when I look at this list and I sort by emission, a couple coins are missing from this, but in particular, I saw Chia and Kaspa, okay? Kaspa, I've been interested in mining, but only with ASIC miners because these big ASIC miners are on the way. GPU mining had gone obsolete, FPGA showed up for like a couple months. ASIC miners will beat out any other kind of hardware, except purpose hardware. For example, an ASIC cannot do what a hard drive can. An ASIC is an application-specific integrated circuit, and these miners are just a bunch of ASIC chips on a board. A hard drive has capacity. It's just basically completely different. Maybe think of it like comparing a car to a boat. You could say they're similar, but they do totally different things in a different environment. Maybe not the best comparison, but that's the best I had right now. My point here being is when you compare the market cap to the emission, Kaspa and Chia are notably very high. So my thought process is, how do I get a piece of that, right? And what's the future of that coin look like? So Chia's all-time high is over $1,600 last crypto bull run, down 98% from that. A couple things to think about is there's more coins in the ecosystem now, so it would have a higher market cap to command that same all-time high. I don't think the emission is, crazy in comparison. You look at the circulating supply of 8 million, the total supply of 29 million, and the FDV is only at $1 billion. Basically, all this stuff is within the realm of possibilities, and I absolutely believe in the next crypto bull run that Chia is likely to hit a new all-time high, which is why all the Chia I'm mining, or they call it farming, in the XCH community, I'm stacking it. I'm leaving it in the bag. I'm ready to ride. Let's go somewhere with this. The Chia company is planning to IPO. They're sitting on a bunch of marketing funds, and there's a lot of bullish factors with the coin if you really start digging in and doing some research. The fundamental technology of Chia, one way you could think of it is kind of like a mix between Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's a platform. There's tokens on chain. They've deployed NFT technology in a unique way in comparison to, say, just what you may be familiar with say, like the Ethereum and EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine ecosystem. They boast about being green, right? Mining with hard drives just ultimately consumes a lot less power than mining with ASIC miners, which is what Bitcoin, that blockchain is mined with. They have all these things they boast about. They also boast about operating within the laws of the United States in the US. Let's just speak plainly about that. That is not easy to do. That is very difficult. Here's a quick clip of Gene Hoffman, the CEO of the Chia project here, which, you know, it's not the most crypto-centric when you've got titles like CEO and you have a company that's just like really at the helm of this, but there's a lot of talk and debate and discussion about basically in this era, if you want to build something novel, you need something like that to really steer a project until maybe 10 years later or so, you can actually just let that project go, let it run. Ultimately, the more I learn, the more interested I become. There is an elephant in the room though, and that's the Chia halving that's going to take place in 2024. This is not good for basically the ROI of my endeavor. But let's kind of bring it back to my endeavor, right? And then I'll elaborate on a few other things. Hopefully care and subscribe, stick around. Yes, it's evergreen miners that absolutely rejuvenated my interest. I'm going to do some DIY deployments as well. I'm also going to explore some of the other plug and play options. For example, Juicy Miners have created their own plug and play Chia miner or Chia farmer with a lot of different capacity options here. They reached out to us. I haven't had a chance to test this mining rig yet, but I do have a link and a coupon code. And in particular, Juicy's been very active in the VoskCoin Discord server. So you have questions, jump in the HDD mining channel and ask them. But ultimately, I just want to keep you, the viewer, informed about the potential options here. And I'll get out there and try everything I can, and I'll let you know how it's going. But in particular, people ask, why haven't you just DIY'd everything, Vosk? You know about mining, or you should hopefully be able to figure it out. I just recently have not had time to really get into this and do it and enjoy it. So the plug and play option was just absolutely for me. I absolutely love mining sheds. I've been doing this for over half a decade now, which is crazy. This is more along the lines of my humble beginning plan with my hard drive mining shed. And originally I was trying to keep the cost very low and have something like a 10x8 deployment, but when I really started crunching the numbers, I needed to start making this bigger and bigger. Oh, Alexa always says I just take I do everything, you know, as big as I can. I guess I can't even argue. In particular, you look at this, and this is the Pro kit. So when you look at the evergreen miners, they have a couple models. I have 3 Pro kits, and he says that the Pro kit uses 85 watts. So let's just round it up. Basically, 10 hard drives in the hub for an evergreen miner is using about 100 watts. It's a whole lot of pretty much nothing. So I've adjusted my plans, and I'm going to pull a whopping 200 amps. This was my second revision here, and let me bring you down to my third revision. I'm going to pull 200 amps. I'm going to have 4 30 amp deployments in here. Basically, I'm allocating 120 amps for mining, and then some other power, 420 volt use. I could do some light mining on that with these other outlets and circuits, and also 40 amps dedicated to a cooling operation. Mini splits. I'm going to have 2 20 amp mini splits on this mining shed because I'm going to operate this in a closed environment. There are cheaper ways to do this, but for me, I want to make something that will help with the longevity of these miners because they're not cheap. I'll talk about how much my stuff's making, how much it costs here in a second. But the bottom line is hard drives are a more delicate machine than, say, a Bitcoin ASIC miner. I also want this to be as maintenance free as I can get it. So I don't have filters I need to clean or anything like that. I just have a mini split. I'm going to let it eat, let it run, and it's going to cool all of my gear in here. This will allow it to be efficient. This will allow it to be stable, and this will hopefully improve the longevity. Because let's say my hard drive mining endeavor doesn't work out. I'll be sitting on a bunch of hard drives in the most data intensive era we've ever had historically. I don't think 16 and 18 terabyte drives are going out of style anytime soon. The rate in which everyone needs capacity is really growing at arguably an alarming rate. Furthermore, we are in an era of rapid inflation. Things are so expensive to make, and they're really never going to get cheaper. So while some of these drives may cost $200 today, I don't think they're really going to go down in value in the future, and they could even potentially go up. Furthermore, if I'm earning more than I burn, right, in electricity, I'm here to play the long game. I don't know how to say this other than like, I'm in this to win this. I'm building this to run this gear, not for days, not for months, but for years. I'm not trying to sound arrogant, But that's one of the things that differentiates me from my competition. Some of these dudes want to be rich tomorrow. They look at the break-even timeline, the ROI percentage on, say, something like even hard drive mining, and it's not interesting enough. If it takes projected right now years to break even, people don't want anything to do with it. But welcome to the real world of investing. Okay, people buy homes and rent them out for single-digit returns annually. Sometimes, yeah, they own the hardware or the real estate. I own the hardware. There's a lot of debate here, there, whatever. But the bottom line is, I attribute a lot of my, I'm very thankful for this. Any historical success I've had, honestly, just due to sticking with it. Most of the people I've seen fail would have been sitting on mining farms that they spent less than $100,000 on, that if they would have just sat there for a couple years, even paid the electric bill by working a 9 to 5, they would have been sitting on $1 million mining farm making thousands of dollars per day. But they don't have the grit, they don't have the tenacity and the patience. As much as a lot of people want to be rich tomorrow, probably not going to happen. But you could be very wealthy in a few years if you make a plan, stick with it. And that's what I'm doing here. I've had a lot of people kind of hate on my plan. I don't give a I'm excited about this. I'm thrilled. And no one can take the wind out of my sails with this. I think that this is, like, for me, one of the most fun projects I've really kind of worked on with mining. It kind of, like, I get a similar level of enthusiasm that I had like back in the beginning of my mining journey. This feels new, it feels fresh. Very exciting news. I'm here at a party. The shed is in production. I do not have it yet, but it's built, and hell yeah, I made it green. Alexa's so mad at me. It's kind of funny. Yep, it's green. And so the design, right? We have wood paneling, we have the backing here, radiant barrier. It's also insulated, and I've had paneling applied inside. All of the electricity is already ran in here. I've got the sub panel. All I'm gonna have to do is hook up the service. You can see this was some more of the build progress. At a later point, you see it kind of coming along and the wiring being ran throughout of here. Here is my panel. And I haven't really looked at this other than glanced at it. I need to sit down and make sure this all looks good to go, and also double check it with my local electrician who's super talented. Now this is with the paneling up, and I think this is fun. Like, I think this looks good. I don't know about the white trim that they ran. I don't hate it. I don't know if that makes it look a little nicer, or I don't know if it would have looked like a log cabin and now kind of doesn't. But this is cedar paneling, right? This wasn't too expensive in the grand scheme of this build. How much did this cost me, right, is a question people commonly ask. So realistically, when this is all said and done, it's 12 by 20, and I think my other mining shed is 10 by 20. So this basically all in, right? Delivered, built, set up, run the mini splits, everything. I'm pretty much sitting at 15 grand on this. Yeah, absolutely expensive. Yeah, you would make more money if you bought this stuff and ran it in your house. But for me, doing this for about a decade, I get very tired of a bunch of mining rigs all throughout my house.
Drew, why is there a mining rig in the bathroom?
It makes me feel like I never separate, what has become work that I'm incredibly passionate about, but it's work, right? And I don't want to be surrounded by mining rigs in every room and using up every circuit and stuff like that. So having a dedicated spot where I can put all this stuff that also, in my opinion, looks cool as God, I'm excited about this. I do think, whatever light bars these are look a little questionable. They're not my kind of typical style. Maybe they'll look better in person. But hey, there's something beautiful about plug and play, because keep in mind, like, when this gets delivered to me, all I have to do is wire the mini splits. Cut the mini split in, and I have two mini split installs. Okay. And I have to hook up the service to the electric panel on the outside and run it to like my actual electrical service. I'm like almost getting a plug and play hard drive mining shed or my own little mini data center. And so when I bring it back to this, I'm gonna have the 3 shelves in the middle. I'm gonna have 4 LED light bars running the other way. With this design, I'm basically gonna put a PDU on each of these shelves. The dotted lines you see here, shelf, shelf, shelf. but to put, PDUs there. And from there, I'm going to run all the equipment. With how much these pool in electricity, this is insane density, right? So if you go watts to amps, I go AC because I'm on single phase electricity, and this would be on 240 volt, which reduces my amperage. Let's say, I did some of this math in that thread before, but let's just take like the evergreen miners, which they're notorious for using a very low amount of electricity. Let's just say that I've got 10 kits, right? And I'm using 1,000 watts, right? So 1,000 watts is just a lowly 4 amps. That 10 kits is 100 hard drives. I could literally run 100 kits, which would be 1,000 hard drives on 2 of these PDUs deployments, and still have electricity left over. And keep in mind, like at their retail pricing, that's pretty expensive, right? I said 100. So that would be $300,000. This would be a more than $250,000 hard drive mining farm deployment. I'm not saying that's my plan. Let's call that my dream. And again, you can always DIY this stuff. When we go to their kits, we see that the starter kit pro, it earns XCH. It only is 85 watts, $3,000 is the cost here. Plug and play, all that kind of stuff. Cool, great. Bing, bang, pow. Obviously, I'm going to do some DIY deployments in here as well. I can grab refurbished server grade hard drives right now, depending, how many you buy from where and so forth. Let's just say like $200. So if I wanted to go ahead and buy 10 of these myself, my cost in there is around $2,000. You have to plot these for Chia Farming. That is a little bit more of an involved process. You need to have a computer that's capable of doing that. And then you need to evaluate compression, right? And with the compression, you can basically increase your earnings for a marginal increase in power consumption on these HDD miners. All of this is kind of in the plan, in the grand scheme of things, and I'm just taking it step by step. Right now, the only miners I have deployed are 30 hard drives, or basically 3 pro kits. In particular, these are the evergreens, and these are the 16 terabyte models. They've moved to all 18 terabyte drives since I've gotten mine. Right now, you can see that my earnings, it's projecting here that every month I'm earning like $116. This means that it'll literally take me years to break even on this. There are some factors that do, help boost this up. For example, when you hit a block, and I've been really fortunate with hitting blocks recently. I've hit 3 blocks in the last month. I did have a dry spell before that. When you hit a block, you get 0.25 XCH. This is baked into the protocol. Unrelated to all of your other mining earnings, you earn 0.25 XCH, which basically every time you hit a block, you get an $8 bonus right now. Every Chia you mine right now is $32. I think this price is really low. It's really bottomed out here. And to be honest, it hit its all-time low in 2022, and it's only up 22% from there. This is a coin that's trading very, very close to its all-time low, and I'm still fine with the numbers. Understand that I think 10xing is absolutely possible, and to be frank, I think likely on this coin. Just some quick numbers for fun, called hopium, right? If this 10x, okay, so let's just say we're mining about 4 Chia a month, and Chia goes from $30, right? And at that point, we're mining about $120 a month. If it 10x's, we are literally mining $1,200 a month. And that would take time to break even on this gear from years to less than 3 months. Like, that's all it takes. If I hold all the coins and all that happens, I was making that much money historically. And honestly, I think Chia is pretty cool. I'm personally trying to build my own XCH bag, but I am spending dollars to build HDD or hard drive miners. So I will absolutely take some profit into dirty dollars as well, just to kind of reimburse myself with that, build the war chest, and always put stash into the electricity bill, because until I deploy my own solar panels, that is unfortunately the absolute bear of my existence. XCH Farm has some pretty cool data. When I was looking at their decentralized page, there is an astonishing amount of full nodes on the Chia network, which really helps to raise the Nakamoto efficient coefficient, which is just, very, very cool. That's also in association with the mining power and decentralization network net space, or which would translate to like a network hash rate on Bitcoin. But anyway, point here being, they also have a very, very good calculator. We are building out our own mining profitability calculator for ASIC miners and some other miners like Chia Farmers. Honestly, I think they nailed it. We're in the process of building something like this, and I stumbled on this, and I was just like, wow, this is like a very good, simple job. But you can see that it breaks down your variables. So like XCH is priced at $32. The net space, 26 EIBs. And if your electricity cost was 10 cents per kilowatt hour with 214 terabytes, which is basically your 18 terabytes at a 20% compressed level there, you would be earning $2 a day or $62 a month. Really, to put it into perspective right now, if you compare, like I have 3 Pro kits, but 2 of the new larger hard drives, as well as with the compression, which again is basically increasing your mining rewards, in comparison with mine, 2 new Evergreen kits actually is equal to 3 of their old kits, to put it simply there. With all that in mind, it's projected that it would cost you $6 a month to operate this, and you would then be pocketing about $56 or something like 1.8 XCH. I really like the way you can see your breakdown, year over year. You can see that over the next 5 years, you'd be projected to mine something like 52 XCH or about $1,600-$700. So like that is a very long break-even period, but I don't think these prices will stay the same. And really, I'm just betting on that. And to be frank, if this somehow takes me 10 years to break even, then goddamn it, so be it. And that's the just tenacity I think you need to have to play this game successfully. Personally, I gamify everything. And when it comes to resource management, generation, micro, macro, right? Like I come from strategy games like StarCraft and Command and Conquer were my intro. And then Warcraft 3 was just, I beloved. Blizzard is such trash in this era, sitting on the best IP in the history of ever. Like all we wanted was just a Warcraft 3 remaster that was good. That's all we wanted. Take that from us. But on a serious note, I think that's one of the reasons I'm obsessed with mining, is because it's really all strategy. Like if I just sat here and buy the coin, honestly, probably would make more money, but it'd be so boring. I wouldn't be fulfilled. Like I'm a nerd. I love this stuff. And building this infrastructure, oh man, I love it. Like it's so fun. It's engaging. It's problem solving. And I hope that it pays off, a lot long term. At the end of the day, like why would you mine instead of just buying the coin? Well, at some point, let's say you buy $10,000 worth of coin, and then it gets you X amount of XCH that goes up. That's great. And that's kind of it. Or if you put $10,000 into mining rigs, you mine over $10,000. You could even take that $10,000 that you mined out. You've now broken even. You have your money back. And then you have something that's essentially paid off. And it just stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks coins for you. Keep in mind that even if Chia hit a new all-time low, at my electricity rate or even a much higher electricity rate, I would still be earning more coin than I am burning in electricity. While this is a very capital intensive mining deployment, efficiency wise, energy consumption wise, to be frank, unless, Chia just goes to zero, it can't lose. That is very appealing, especially considering I don't have some crazy good electricity rate. My electricity rates actually make it so I am much more suited for hard drive mining as opposed to Bitcoin mining, even though the majority of my mining farm is Bitcoin amongst several other altcoins. And this is my latest update on all of this stuff. At the time of recording this video, my farm reports that I have about 473 terabytes or about half a petabyte. My goal by the end of the next month is to have over 1 PB. I ain't talking peanut butter, okay, here deployed on the network. That was originally my 2023 goal. I'm a little bit ahead of schedule, which has me very excited, which has had me reframe my goal for 2 PB minimum, 3 PB ideally, or 3 petabytes here on the Chia blockchain. If I had 3 PBs deployed, right, and let's just take the really, to be frank, low earnings of right now, times 6, I would be earning $700 a month farming Chia. I think that's a lot. It's also a lot of coins because I would be then farming roundup and positive nature, right? somewhere around 22 Chia per month. Again, just a little bit of hopium, right? 22 times close to the all-time high would be 35 grand a month. Hey, you know, everybody needs a dream, so don't be crapping on mine. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, enjoyed the content. If you did, please subscribe to the VoskCoin YouTube channel. If for no other reason than our CHO, that's going to be our chief hard drive officer. That's going to be Tails Voss, the cutest pup in the world. You see the camera? I'm pulling it out. You can see the page right here. You can even hear me talking in the background. Look at this cutie pup. Hey, Tails, what are you doing? Are we shooting a video? What are you doing? All right. Hey, Tails, you want a treat? Hey, do you want a treat? Ooh, tough crowd today. Well, our chief hard drive officer's mad, so I gotta go. See you later.